Hello and welcome to 5Ws and 1H, a new web series of interviews that is going to try to put together thoughts and different points of view about events in the COVID-19 era.
Yeah, I don't know what the new normal is going to be like, but I do know that it's going to put quite a few demands on organisations and individuals for quite some time.
We have to redesign our product, our sport events, according to what the virus indicates.
This is a situation that no one's ever lived before, so no one knows. I mean, as a player, I don't know if I would have wanted to come back to play.
Here in Italy, I think that till next year, we won't be able, I think, to organize something.
We have to adjust our sport events and to see how can we support this sustainability, the new sustainability that the virus implements. We have to be flexible. Mega events, they're not going to be any mega events anymore.
So maybe the new normal is not something bad. Maybe the new normal can be better for the participant.
Normal life, it won't happen again until we have a vaccine.
When sports are going to be back? In Germany, Bundesliga already started. In Korea, they have some football games as well. In the United States of America, they have NASCAR and golf tournaments. So what's going on around the world?
Everybody is wondering is just when is that going to be? Is it going to be a month from now? Is it going to be in September? Is it going to be November, December? I think there are a lot of what ifs. Nobody really knows right now what's going to be happening.
Sport events for the moment in the national level, they are well controlled with this kind of restriction, mainly for transportation, how they are using the training period, how they do with when they use their individual or group rooms when they prepare before or after the game. So these things are already settled. The games are continuing in both leagues, in baseball and football, but nobody knows when this will change to another level to engage fans and spectators in this kind of events.
Spanish Football League is coming back, soccer for the North American, and it's coming back with no crowd, of course, empty stadiums. And football is very powerful here. It's a lot of money. There was a lot of controversy because in French league is over, Holland league is over, but I mean Italian, German, England, and Spain, and another one are coming back.
But at least we start sports again. So in training or like in competition and games. So I think that's important also for the mindset of the humans, because this was horrible, like 6 weeks of lockdown, no soccer, nothing. I think a lot of Germans got crazy during these times because it was just nothing to do.
The Qatar Football Association and also the Qatar Olympic Committee, they announced that for now no sports can be held in the country. The first one to announce was the football one, because now they are following the Bundesliga model. So they will resume on July.
NRL Rugby League, it's almost going to be a little bit of the guinea pig of Australian sports, I think, because they're the first ones to go back. Every state has different regulations at the moment. So I'm in New South Wales in Sydney, and we've actually got the strictest at the moment because we've had the most cases. A lot of that came from one boat that came in, but that's another story. But so we've got the strictest regulations in place. as of 2 weeks ago, teams been back to training, and a few teams had to relocate. So we had the Melbourne Storm, they're down in Victoria in a different state. They had to come up across the border to New South Wales to train. And then we've got the New Zealand Warriors. So they had to come over from New Zealand to Australia, had to do their 14 days quarantine, and then they trained out in a rural area, so they were away from it a little bit.
The AFL, the Australian Football League, which is a different to the National Rugby League, they're trying to get themselves going again. They're the two big national sports that sort of dominate the TV here in Australia, and so they're trying to get up with empty stadiums just so they can have broadcast. Obviously, they've got to try and placate sponsors, and they've got broadcast deals, so they need to get some sort of content going.
In the beginning, they kept postponing the dates of the major competitions because in the beginning they thought that maybe they can postpone to June or to July, but now it seems really impossible. So everything's postponed for after the summer, which is also a question because will it be possible to do everything after summer? We still don't know about that.
Swiss people are so responsible that even though clubs and professional teams, for example, in football, the professional teams in Switzerland, they've been able to train since the start of May, but a lot of clubs haven't trained. They decided to stay at home and they decided to not take that risk to train and all that. So even though the competition, for example, the Swiss League for football can go ahead in June, it's not sure if it actually will. Because the people are quite careful and are quite, I guess, hesitant about life going back to normal at stadiums. But sporting events and music events and all that will start again, but it'll be in empty stadiums.
What we do know now is that the Russian Football Premier League is going to resume its match on 21st of June. And they're going to play 8 rounds to finish this year's season. By the 22nd of July, we will not have any spectators at the games, only the footballers. And also, as far as I figured out, they're not going to host any matches in the cities with the highest rate of infected people. So there will be no games in Moscow and St. Petersburg. The complication is that currently the group trainings are prohibited in these cities. Hence, the regional football clubs can now train, but the city clubs can't. But as far as I know, again, but judging by some leaks in the media, some clubs are still training in spite of the fact that there are some football players infected by coronavirus. They're not even isolated. But it's sort of something that leaks undercover.
You know, anything that can be done to get some sport back on the agenda is great, but we cannot put people at risk. We have to ensure that we do it within the best safe environment that we can.
No scheduled events, only some sport competitions, and this is only for football, not basketball, not handball, no volleyball. There won't be any ending in this championship. Only for football, we're gonna have the playoffs with no spectators, something similar like Bundesliga in Germany. But in terms of events, running, swimming, nothing at all.
For sports, we don't have any news, which is for our league. If I hear that if in June the government don't give any permission to run the league, so they will stop the season totally.
The time is ticking for basketball because you know they got to get their playoffs and all that stuff done. They got to go. So they're the ones talking about going, and it seems like football is not really addressing anything. NFL,
the NBA will restart. And there are some rumors they might take a decision and they might make an announcement in about 2 to 3 weeks. That's what Chris Paul, the president of the Player Association from the NBA, said about a week ago, that in 2 to 4 weeks they will make an official announcement if they will actually cancel the season or if they're going to restart it. And if they're going to restart it, of course, all the games will be played without spectators and probably all the teams will be brought to the same location. There are 2 choices, Orlando or Las Vegas. And they're going to be kept there. They're going to play in the same arena. Like I said, no spectators. They're going to have plenty of tests to test the players every single time. Well, Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, said that in the case of some player getting the coronavirus, everybody from his team and from the opposing team will get tests. That player will be isolated. If there are any new cases, those players will be isolated, and so on.
In my honest opinion, I think the EuroLeague made the right decision. I think that decision was mostly based on the feelings of the majority of their players. They did something that a lot of leagues don't do, and they listen to their players. And I think that is very commendable to Jordi, to the president, to the league itself, to listen to the players. And, you know, in a way, you have to think about the fact that you have a lot of fans like myself, you know, of course, I profit also from working at the EuroLeague. So, you know, it affects me financially, but it affects me more emotionally that I'm going to miss the sport. I've missed it, and I will miss the fact that there'll be no ending to it. But you can lose me and you can lose the fans for a few months because they're upset that you decided not to play. The fans will come back if the product is good. If you lose the players by making a decision opposite of what they wanted, you're going to lose the players, and then you lose the players and the fans. So it's kind of like the double-edged sword there. You got both things coming if you don't listen to the players. Should the players dictate what happens? No, I probably don't think so. But this is a situation that no one's ever lived before, so no one knows.
Thanks for watching the first episode of 5 Ws in 1 Age. Stay tuned for the next episode where we are going to try to give answers to the question who, what, where, when, and why, but most important, how events are going to be in the COVID-19 era.